Okay, I have finally returned from my journey to Just Games in Rochester, where I played a friendly game of Warhammer the Old World with a guy named RJ. Great experience, I gotta say. Great game store, really. A little smaller than the biggest one that's close to me, but it's well worth the travel and really super friendly people there. Okay, I've watched these battle reports before. They have a better grasp of what to do. I'm just gonna tell you what happened. Um, let's see. We each had 1,000 points, and RJ, I'll let you introduce your army. Go
I'm
for
RJ.
it.
This is my Britonian army. I have a Duke, 3 Royal Pegasus, 20 peasant bowmen, 20 men at arms, and then 2 blocks of 5 Knights of the Realm. Mostly everyone has full command. The Duke, I believe, has a Knight with the virtue of the Impetuous Knight, 4 extra charges, and I believe that's most of what I have, basically summed up. Everything else is pretty stock standard and boring.
Awesome. And then I'll introduce my army. Yep, here it is. Okay, I'm Charles. I'm playing orcs. I have my main unit of black orcs with black orc big boss, the general, and then I have savage orcs, a big 26 block of savage orcs. Then I've got some archers and some orc, just regular boys with hand weapons and shields. And then I have some goblins to bully around with a war machine. 990 points, just shy of 1,000. But this is my orc army. I have 2 banners. One is Angry Lads and one is the Warg banner. This is the Angry Lads and this is the Warg banner. All right.
Under moon's dark veil, in the night we sail. Drums beat like thunder, hearts never surrender. In the forest deep, where shadows creep, axes raised up high, victory in our cry. Our blood, fierce and strong.
First question is, what was it like playing the old world for the first time? For the first time, since I played before, I kind of had a general idea what was going on, and I watched a bunch of live plays, so I kind of had a general idea what was going on. But I was unprepared for the pace and the complexity and the sheer amount of rules that go into Warhammer the Old World. I'd need to play a lot more in order to hammer down on each one of them in order to get them really solid. So that was a little overwhelming. Um, charts are useful. Quick charts, I think printing out some quick charts would be even more useful. And a good explanation or a chart of the combat resolution and fleeing and break test sort of stuff, that might have been useful too. There wasn't a chart, but you kind of had to figure out whether you passed and how much by, and it was a little more complicated than I expected. Um, Still fun, especially as a casual game. Still fun. Okay, what do you like about your army? Okay, maybe I'm a little biased. I really like the Savage Orcs. I like them because they're wild and they're frenzy and they're always in full send mode. So just run at the enemy and stick them a bunch. And they can do that well if you are good at strategy. And I did not do that well this game, which is fine, whatever. Um, but I played them as full send and just charge ahead and don't ever hold back and just get them, boys. And that was a lot of fun. The Savage Orcs were, I think, better than I expected them to be. Since I don't ever have any intention of quelling my impetuosity, Black Orcs are not as maybe useful to me because I send my guys full force and don't really care. So maybe black orcs aren't the right way to go. Maybe just more savage orcs. Maybe. Okay. Next question. What weaknesses do you see in your army? And specifically, is it specific to the orcs? I think a weakness, not a weakness really, but something that I did not bring with me. I did not bring a lot of what you'd call higher level guys. I didn't bring fast cavalry. I didn't bring swifter or screening units. And I think I could have done a little bit better if I had screening units or fast cav. But I didn't. It was a themed list. Maybe that's a weakness. If I played a whole army of troll horde nomadic tribes where they do everything is on fast cav or on, speedy boars or whatever, then maybe I would have done better against this army, the Britonians. But I don't know if I'm going to do that because I like playing a themed ground army, and it's a style, regardless of, winnability or anything like that. It's a style that I enjoy. I also did double outnumber him on at least one occasion, probably a couple of occasions. And did it really matter? In one case, it did matter. In most of the other cases, it didn't matter. But I enjoyed that moment when I'm like, I outnumber you at least 2-1. That was neat. But weakness, probably. Am I going to stop that weakness? Probably not. I do like to have a weakness in my army. Even though my boys are tough, they can be humbled. And that's okay. So next question is, in a friendly game, does it matter whether your models are like fully painted? And I'm going to say no. In a game like this, I felt a little bad that I didn't have all my Savage Orcs fully painted. They had prime and base coat on their skin only, and a lot of the rest of the Savage Orcs were not painted beyond that. I did have some, like 8 or 10 Savage Orcs fully painted. My Black Orcs were fully painted. My regular Orcs are fully painted. My Archers are fully painted. Did it matter that he had Britonians that were base coated and Zenithal highlighted only? No, it did not. It did not take away at all from my enjoyment, and I'm hoping his enjoyment as well. It was fun to put them on the battlefield, make the map, make the lists, and run them up against each other. So no, I don't care whether they're painted or not. I think that's fine. If you want to play and you just want to have a casual, fun game, yeah, have a fun, casual game. That, I think, is really the essence of what this is. It's a little bit of strategy, a lot of randomness, and a lot of fun. I enjoy painting, and I also understand that. Now, I've seen what RJ can do. He can paint, okay? Just put a pin in that. He can paint. So, I enjoy painting. I also understand a lot of other people don't enjoy painting as much. So am I going to blame them that, oh no, they must be all No, don't be silly. Either have somebody else paint them, or don't paint them, or just base coat them. Or to me, it doesn't matter. Leave them gray. I don't care. Let's just have some fun. And that's the essence right there. And with that, again, great shout out to RJ. That was a fantastic opponent. Thanks to Just Games, because they're fantastic. So wonderful. Go get your models there. And your paints and brushes. Support your local game store. Even if it's an hour away, that's fine. It's still a local game store. Yeah, that's about it. That's my experience with the Warhammer the Old World. Okay, rounding out with my final thoughts on Warhammer the Old World. Let me see. I enjoyed it. It's way more complicated. I have the books. I mean, I have several books. It's way more complicated than I anticipated, and you need to play with somebody who is knowledgeable about the rules, but also very forgiving about the rules. Um, it's not easy to get into. So I think it's not an issue. It's something you should be aware of. Just be aware that there's a lot to it, and you're going to get a bunch of stuff wrong. So be forgiving to the other player, be forgiving to yourself. And I think those are the most important things to remember and to learn about playing Warhammer the Old World. In the meantime, keep painting, have fun.